Okay, and today we're going to be measuring out the bore on the new cylinder I got for the YZ, and we'll see what condition it's in. So I got a 3SR cylinder, which is from a 1990 bike, because the 3 JDs, which would be for the 89, which my bike is, are slightly worse and they're harder to find with just being older, really. When this one came up, it came up with the governor arm cover and, well, the left hand side cover. So I've pulled most of the studs out. These two are stuck. They're the ones with the locating dowels. They just seem to be stuck in a little bit tighter, but that won't be a problem. I'll pull them and put in new ones. Now, if you're looking to do the same with your bike, you will need a complete top end from whatever year you select. From 89 through to 93, you can swap the top ends, but you will need the barrel, the power valve, and the head, and then obviously the piston to suit. The only thing you really need to watch for when you're doing that is when you overbore the cylinder, a lot of people will dress the power valve to fit that certain overbore. So a lot of them, when you're buying them second hand, will not come with a power valve, and you will have to buy that separately because obviously the person selling it will make more money that way. So you can end up with a power valve that's been dressed to too small if you have, say, a standard bore cylinder, which will lead to excessive blow-by and just a general loss of, well, compression and power, and you'll experience a lot more spooge in the exhaust. In this era of the yz125, you have what? 3, 2, 1, 0. You have 5 different years, and the most desirable year is a 90 because they were the most reliable, they made the most power at usable RPM, and they would be the more sought after of the cylinders. 92 and 93 were not great. They had very poor port matching, and the power valve had an issue with just generally not being quite up to not quite up to scratch. 89 is fine, but as I say, they're quite hard to find. Now I got this one as a gift, thankfully, which was very thoughtful. The only issue on visual inspection, as I've not measured the bore, is the 2 tabs for the exhaust springs. Now you can see one of them is almost fully eaten through, and the other side is broken off. So for me that won't be much of an issue because I can TIG weld, so all I'm going to do is just weld on what's missing from here, and the same on the other side, and then I'll just re-drill it. Now when looking at this cylinder, it looks like it's in very good condition. I'm not sure if you can see the nickel seal very well, but the cross hatching is still very visible on it. Whoever honed it went a little bit fast, so they're not quite the angle you want, but at the same time the nickel seal looks perfect. It's not chipped in any way, none of the bridges are damaged in any way, and it just generally seems to be in pretty good condition. So I'm very happy about that, and I'm hopeful that the bore will be reflected in the condition of the rest of the cylinder. Standard spec for this motor is 56 millimeters to 56.02 with a service limit of 56.1, and the way you would want to measure it is from your intake side to your exhaust side, because the way power transfers from linear motion to rotational motion will put most stress in the cylinder on your intake side and your exhaust side, and specifically in two strokes, right over your exhaust port. That's where we'll wear the fastest. So that's where you will definitely want to check with your bore gauge if it's within service or not, and if it isn't, you will need to either get it plated, overboard, or possibly sleeved. Okay, so the tools you need to measure the bore of a cylinder are quite specialized. What you're going to need is an appropriately sized micrometer and then your dial bore indicator. I've explained in another video, which I will put a link to either in the description or on this video, of how to measure your cylinder properly. If you want a video of how to set up your indicator, I will make a video of it, and that's no problem. Just leave a comment down below and I will get to it. So we will measure this and see if it's within spec, and well, that's more or less all we have to do. This measurement is taken just above the exhaust port and it comes out to 56.02. Oh, sorry. And it's coming out to 56.02. What you're looking to do is just rock the indicator slightly, and where the needle bounces back from a point is what your measurement is. Measurements were taken multiple times in the upper portion of the cylinder, halfway down, and the lower portion of the cylinder, and at multiple places of rotation. So my measurements came out to be between 56.02 and 56.03 millimeters, which means this cylinder is standard bore and perfectly fine to use. Now you might be wondering why there's variation in the bore, and that's kind of more to do with the fact that it's a two-stroke with the ports in the cylinders, and the ring isn't always in contact with every part of the cylinder, so some parts will wear quicker than others. As I say, above the exhaust port will wear generally faster than much more of the cylinder. And that's about it for this video.